Hello, hello, everyone. I think you're waiting for us for this interview with multilingual actor BigBong. We're doing a quick audio test. Let us know if you can hear me. I'm Paulino, and right here is who are you?
Hey, am I there?
You are right there.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I'm on top of you on my screen. Okay. Hello, people. I'm Big Bong. I can't see you, but it's good to be here, and hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, hopefully they can hear you. So let us know in the chat if you can hear both of us, and we'll be right back. Chat if you can hear both of us, and we'll be.
Because I'm on top of you on my screen.
You can hear both of us. Let us know. Yes, hopefully they can hear you. So let us.
Hear me?
Yes, hopefully they can hear you.
Top of you on my.
I think we're good. Are you good, Big Bong?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
Okay,
awesome.
great. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another live session for the Language Learning Summit 2018. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
And hopefully everyone is enjoying all the talks and the live sessions. We are here live. So, if you're watching live, please join us in the chat at languagelearningsummit.com/live so you can ask questions or just say hi. Let us know where you are, what part of the world. If you're learning a language, let us know which one. If you're a teacher, Norbert says, I can hear you well. Lisa says, hi, Paulino, I can hear both of you fine. Woohoo! So people are here watching, and we're going to talk about what is this thing about doing multilingual videos. But before, let me tell you briefly that we have more panels coming up. We have Sunday, February 18 at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. We have our first Spanish panel or panel in Spanish. La cultura en la clase de español como lengua extranjera. Did you copy
Oh.
that, Big Bang?
Yeah,
Okay.
claro que sí.
Okay, muy bien. And also Sunday, February 18 at 8 p.m., we have Let's Talk About Professional Development with Nicole Nadids. But for those of you who are here with us today, let's say hello to Big Bong. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Paulino. I'm good. Thank you very much. It's good to be here. How are
Great.
you?
Oh, I'm super excited because I don't know if people there out there know I am a language teacher, but I'm also an actor, and sometimes I do some acting in other languages. I haven't made many videos like you, but I usually on the stage I have multilingual stories. So I'm excited to bring the art into the Language Learning Summit, to have another colleague actor. So tell us, who is Big Bong?
Well, thank you very much for having me, and I'd like to see those videos in question. Big Bong. Well, Paulino, I'd like to tell you that I'm your sweetest dream and your worst nightmare. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just a French and Japanese entertainer in his late 20s, living in Montreal, and I spend most of my time
So tell us,
working on audiovisual content. So yeah, I enjoy acting, singing, dancing, and of course speaking different languages. So that's about it. So why Big Bong? It's because my first name is Bong, and because I'm the eldest of my siblings, I've always been the big brother, so hence Big Bong.
I see. And
Yeah.
how long tell us a little bit about your training as an actor. How long have you been acting, and where have you trained and stuff like that?
How long have I been acting? That's a good question, a pretty tricky one actually, because I've always been passionate about acting in general. As far as I can remember, maybe when I was 6, even before that, I used to play my favorite superheroes or video game characters. But professionally speaking, I started in 2015, so about 3 years ago. I was an extra for the series, the TV show Quantico. They did all the shooting here in Montreal, so I was an extra there. And after that, I did some advertising projects, short films, videos, and I started my vlog also in 2015, like on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I particularly like it here in Montreal because it's easy to get in the network if you're really serious about it. You have like plenty of Facebook groups and things like that to get involved. About my training, I used to go to a theater school back in university when I was a student in Paris. So of course it was in French, and very very much oriented in theater. In Europe, I guess most of the actors are more oriented in stage performances first, and then after that they move on with camera stuff. But apart from that, I have like what we can call related skills, such as playing guitar and dancing. I love dancing. um, Mostly like social dances such as salsa, swing, bachata, things like that.
Ooh, fun. I love dancing myself. So if we
Cool.
see, I guess we could mention that we met in person at Langfest. That's where I saw you, and
Yeah.
we talked briefly. We were all over the place. You were running around with your camera, so you can tell us about that in a minute. But so if we made it back to, if I, at least you are there, but if I made it back to Langfest this year, 2018, I hope we can have some salsa sessions with everybody there because
Oh
we
yeah, for sure.
definitely. So obviously we are talking about a multilingual actor. So now I wanted to ask you about your art first, because even though this is language-related conference and summit, I wanted to bring the art to the forefront. But tell us a little bit about your language learning journey. How many languages you speak, when you start, and all those kind of things that people love to hear.
Paulino, this is a very, very intimidating questions because here in the language learning summit, I know that most of the people speak at least 11 languages, or that's what's happening in my mind right now. But yeah, I speak comfortably English, French, and Japanese. French and Japanese are my native tongues because my father's French and my mother's Japanese, and I was born and raised in France, but in a very much Japanese culture. And then after that, well, I can handle a conversation in German, Korean, maybe Spanish. I wouldn't want you to try, but because I lived in Spain, in Madrid, for about 3 months. I was mostly speaking English there, but then I picked up the language a little bit. German as well. I lived in German-speaking countries for about 6 months, and then Korean. I went 6 months to Seoul National University in South Korea, and I'm currently learning Mandarin Chinese and Lebanese Arabic as well with my friend Mark. So that's about it. So how many languages is that? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight languages.
Eight. So, and when you say I'm currently learning, can you tell us? We always want to know: are you learning by yourself? Are you learning with teachers? What's your way of learning a new language?
Yeah. Ideally, I'd like to have a teacher. Obviously, I don't because I do not have the time. Well, it depends. Actually, for Lebanese Arabic, I have my friend Mark, as I mentioned. His parents, a lot of Lebanese friends. For Chinese, it's a little bit more complicated. I do have friends, but it's a bit difficult with the the time gap because they're either in China or in France. Here, I would love to find a teacher, but I don't really have time between my regular job and all my projects. So what I do is I have, of course, applications, mobile apps that I use. For Chinese, it's called Chinese Skills. For Lebanese, actually, it's a bit more complicated. I'm not learning Arabic, like literal Arabic, because that's a bit different. I like to first start the Lebanese dialect. There are not so many resources, so I'm following actually two people on YouTube. So that's basically what I do. I go whether on Duolingo or its equivalent because they don't have Chinese yet, and also watching videos. So basically, people like me who speak in front of the camera, and if they have subtitles, that's just the best. But and also for Chinese, I watch movies or dramas. They have a couple of them on Netflix, so that's something I do with the subtitles just to get used to listening to the language, the flow of it, the sounds. So I do it by myself right now, but obviously I'll reach a certain, step, as you know, where if I want to communicate with other people, I would need to find someone to interact with because otherwise I'll be too, slow thinking about my words, my sentences, and stuff. So yeah, for now it's just by myself.
Great. And I do see many polyglots and people learning languages sharing videos or creating videos talking about their process and maybe practicing talking in those languages. So kind of to show the progress, stuff like that. Now, from what I see, you have decided to combine your passion for the arts and acting with languages. And that's something that I don't see very often. So you kind of have to look for those opportunities because sometimes, I mean, you might see someone who does videos all in one language and you can follow that, but you do it in many languages. So tell me a little bit, how did you decide to combine these two things? The fact that you speak many languages, but you also want to create videos in many languages.
Of course. Well, one of the things I love about learning a new language is that you don't only learn the language in the sense that you don't just learn grammar and words or expressions. You learn a culture. You learn, what I if I learn Spanish is because I like the spiciness of the Latino culture. I like the way they speak. I like the way they interact with each other. They do it in a specific way. When I speak with Japanese people, it's completely different. In the way I behave, in the way I have to, all the politeness, this kind of thing, these cultural things are the things that I'm really interested about because you kind of become a different person in a way. You know what I mean? So you have to act in a different way. So as an actor, it's fascinating to become someone else because you're speaking in a language. You know what I mean? So of course, when I speak French, I'm a different person than when I speak in English. And here in Montreal, we have Quebecois, and when I speak to Quebecois people, I do it in a different. It's French, but I do it in a different way than in France. You know what I mean? So I really am fascinated by that because I get to be many people in the same time. Um, so yeah, and one of the things I did, one of the first videos that actually went kind of viral was me performing different accents in French. So I was speaking French, but with different accents, like the one in Paris, the one from Quebec, but also the one from the south of France, different countries, French-speaking countries, and different countries in general. And it kind of like went viral a bit. So I decided to do the same in Japanese. Okay, so what would a French person sound like in Japanese? What would an Italian person sound like in Japanese? And that went even more viral. So it's like, okay, I've got something here. I've got a niche. And I decided to do that in Korean as well. I'm working on the Spanish one, but my Spanish is not as good. But it could be funny too, because I don't know all the differences in different countries, Latin countries. But if I get to go there and speak with different people, like Colombian people, people from Peru, Guatemala, and see the different words, expressions, that could also be interesting. So yeah, a passion for languages because I get to play characters as I speak those languages, and because people are just entertained by it.
Definitely. And usually when we are in the language learning process, we kind of feel as a different person when or we have a different persona when we speak that language. And
Yeah.
so you're kind of bringing that to the max by just creating a complete different character. Now, let me ask you, when you touch on these cultural aspects, has it happened to you sometimes that you have stepped on some stereotypes and people have made any comments? I know that sometimes we can work on a fine line with that. Have you had that experience?
That is absolutely true. Yeah, it's mostly comments, people who feel like because of obviously I'm exaggerating all the accents when I do them, and some people were a bit annoyed or a bit affected, like insulted, like, no, we don't speak like that, or are you racist, or comments like that. Absolutely not. It's just I think it's fun, and people sometimes recognize themselves, or as a French person, what happens sometimes for French people is that when they speak English, a lot of people, say, "Oh, that's cute. Oh, yeah, I love the French accent," but in a sometimes in a demeaning way, like sometimes in a condescending way, like, "Okay, your English is good, but it's not as good as an English speaking person, but it's cute." Basically, so when I do that in other languages, maybe some people might feel like that a little bit. So let's say a French person has learned Japanese and he goes to Japan and he speaks and nobody understands him. And I do that video when I speak in Japanese with a French accent and nobody understands me, but everybody says, "Oh man, that's so true. French people speak like that." Then those people can be affected, and I understand that completely. But again, what I do is entertainment and exaggeration. So yeah, well, I'm not gonna change, but I did experience these kind of things. And what I would tell those people is that it's okay to have an accent. I do have an accent. My English accent is weird, but and I live with it. People understand me when I speak, and I don't care. But yeah, it would motivate me to kind of not really imitate the accent to the maximum, but to improve on my pronunciation so that people understand me better.
Now, connected with that, we have a question from Norbert, who I know it's a language teacher, and he asks, "How do you learn the accents? And do you have any natural talent or maybe a special technique that you apply to go after each accent?"
Yes, that's a very interesting question, actually. Well, I guess people would need like prof- academics needs to do research on me, but I believe that since I was born bilingual, since my mother is Japanese and my father French, I was bilingual by birth, and I was doing the translations. So obviously, my mouth, the way I expressed myself since that time, um, I could get the subtleties of both languages, French and Japanese, and I guess it gave me that flexibility, maybe in my brain, maybe in my I don't know, like the way I could pick up languages or just accents. So maybe I was not born, but then educated. Maybe I grew up like this. And again, as an actor, it's just fun to play characters. So whenever I went to other parts of France where they have different accents, for example, in the south where my uncle and his family lives, um, yeah, I would just imitate them because it was fun. Um, but I wouldn't know about the process that's happening in my brain, in my mind. I just enjoy doing it, and obviously, I do practice. There is a bit an actor's methodology behind. So, for example, I would watch a movie and I would just repeat what the actor would say. So, for example, if I'm watching Game of Thrones, where they have plenty of accents, I would just repeat what the characters would be saying. So, same in Spanish, for example, I was watching El Chapo, the narco trafficker, like, and every time he was saying
Light
something,
entertainment. You like to
ex-
you
yeah,
you like to watch light entertainment, the narco traffic. Great,
yeah,
great
but
example.
it is a way for me to learn Spanish, or at least to get acquainted to the Mexican way of speaking Spanish. So every time the El Chapo would say something, I would just pause it and then just repeat it. So that's my approach as an actor.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I one of my uh, shows for children. I do a lot of shows for children, and one is called Paper Boats, where I speak. I tell different stories in different languages, and one is Norwegian. And because we have a lot of Norwegians in Minnesota, where I live, and I worked on it. I don't speak Norwegian myself, so I didn't study the language. So in your case, you know the languages you use in your videos. I didn't study the language. I studied the story. I studied phonetically. I work with a native speaker to improve my pronunciation, and I know what I'm saying in the story, but that's the extent of it. I call it stage Norwegian. So I want people to believe that I'm speaking great Norwegian, but it's for the purpose of exposing people to hearing and students to hearing a story in the original language where the story comes from, and obviously I have to use my body and different voices to convey the meaning, but that's like a different process. So you really learn the language and then apply it in your videos. And you're starting to talk a little bit about your process, your technique. Tell us a little more about your process of creating videos. How long does it take you? When do you work on them? Do you have a routine, a strict routine, or what's the process of working on your videos?
Well, the process is I go to Nepal and I meditate on a mountain there. I'm just kidding. I wish I could, but no, it's actually pretty easy. And I guess a lot of people, a lot of YouTube or vloggers do the same. It just comes and goes, I guess. Um, well, I'm not 100% dedicated. Like, okay, I have to make a video every week. Some of my friends are like that. I'm not, but the thing is that I have a lot of requests from people who follow me, people who like me, and of course, like in the social media world, if you're taking too much time, then people start, forgetting about you and stop following you. And of course, I don't want to deceive them, disappoint them. So every time I have a request, I'm like, okay, how can I make it work? So for example, a lot of requests would be like, oh, I love your imitation of the yakuza in like the Japanese gang mafia guy. It's like, okay, maybe I should place that in a video. What can I do? And yeah, a lot of requests actually start my inspiration. How long does it take? I usually go for very short videos in terms of shooting and editing. So it's really short. It's like from 1 minute to maximum four. Um, and yeah, just write a few ideas on a sheet of paper, turn on the camera. Usually doesn't take more than an hour shooting. I edit the whole thing, maybe 1 or 2 hours, and that's it. Not longer than that because I don't have the time to do more. I wish I could. If I could earn money from it, then it's gonna be a completely different story. But yeah, getting the inspiration from people who follow me, writing down ideas, shooting, editing, everything should fit in a day, I guess. So usually in the weekend, a Saturday, and about a video every 2 weeks, not more than that, and sometimes even more. But yeah.
And you mentioned Mark, and where you're learning Arabic, and also I see that you've been doing more collaborations with him. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit more about that collaboration?
Sure. Well, he's a multilingual himself. He's actually Lebanese, but he was born and raised here in Montreal, Canada. And yeah, so the connection was instantaneous. He's also very fond of the Japanese culture, like all the mangas, the Japanese movies, and things like that. So, and obviously he's fond of movies, but yeah. Um, he's different in the way that he's very much more dedicated than me. For him, it's gonna be 2 videos every week. So one collab with me, and another video vlog that he would do. So he's spending much more time on this. For me, I'm taking dancing classes. I'm taking I'm doing my motorcycle driver's license. So many things that I would like to do in my life, just enjoying my life in general. So I don't spend as much time as he does. Uh, but yeah, we're on the same page in terms of our humor. And he's got a like much more professional equipment than me, so I can benefit from that as well. And I just every time I have friends who are creators, I enjoy doing collabs with them. So yeah, check out his channel. Actually, there's much more videos of us collaborating on his channel than mine.
I see. I see. Great. Yeah. Um, Now, I really appreciate this time that you're taking of
Yeah,
your busy day, and I think you're preparing to go to work. So I want to start wrapping this up by asking you a little bit about what are some of your goals as an artist, and if you have any projects coming up in the future that you like to let our audience know. And obviously, all your contact information it's in your page at the Language Learning Summit. So I encourage everyone watching to click on those YouTube links and your Facebook page so you can follow you and see your new videos coming up. But let us know what's coming up and what are some of your goals as an artist.
Well, I guess like any other artist, is to continue doing what I love, and if I could, why not getting paid for it? But of course, it's as an artist, it's very difficult to do that, and I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. But yeah, just carry on with what I do, with what I'm passionate about, and yeah, projects. So I'll be continuing this web series we have with Mark, which is called Fragilican, as in French, Japanese, Lebanese, and Canadian. Fragilican, and also my vlog. I'll try to post more things. I have a lot of Japanese subscribers actually, so maybe more videos in me speaking Japanese. And yeah, other like music, music videos coming up with Montreal, other Montreal performers, artists, short films as well. So plenty of projects, and yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy my time. So you can find me on Facebook, YouTube. It's Big Bong, big as in the opposite of small, big, and bong as in bong. The device that is gonna be very very popular in Canada when they'll legalize the green stuff. But so yeah, Big Bong. That's it. Facebook, YouTube. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, but I'm mostly on Facebook and YouTube because that's where all my videos are.
Excellent. Well, Bong, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you and learning more about your process and your ideas. Maybe some Spanish speaking person might make a little gig in your video someday. I don't know. I'm not
Ah,
I'm
¿por qué
not giving you any ideas. We'll
no?
see. As an artist, I'm always trying to find opportunities also to.
Of course.
But I really appreciate your time and letting having this opportunity for the Language Learning Summit audience get to know you more. And all your contact information is in your page, and I'll include some of the videos that I like as well. So thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you so much, Paulino. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.